talk. Last hockey night in Canada. Boy, oh boy. Last time we're doing the record the podcast on ourselves and save it to Sis. Sis's night off. This is over. All right? This is working from here on out. No more Saturdays that are regular season games. Congrats, buddy. This has been, like, the weekends are the hardest part of doing the show, like, by a million billion miles. And so I'm not going to miss this part. I'm not going to miss the telling people. The worst is when people just ask you, so Saturday you're doing Leafs Talk, right? Yeah, I'm doing Saturday Leafs Talk. All right? They play on Saturday.
My buddy, our mutual friend Donnie texts me. He's like, Leafs Talk tonight? I know a lot live. I'm like, yep, always Leafs Talk. Every Saturday, buddy. We're doing Leafs Talk.
I wonder how many people, like, it's amazing how many people still will tweet at me.
Yeah, I got
not
3.
Live tonight?
It's goddamn April.
We got to be in playoff form as fans here.
Get it together, guys.
Everybody get it together. Anyways, thanks to everybody who has been supporting this show. And yeah, we got lots of great stuff planned. A lot of 3-way shows with you, myself, and Borny come playoff time here. So yeah, we're here. We're in that stretch run. Listen, story of the game tonight is just cookie night for the Stars. Like, the Stars saw the open cookie jar, and Noah was home. Mama wasn't watching the jar, and they just went.
Them cookies were wide open.
They wanted the cookies. But I will say this. Good for Marner, good for Nylander, especially tonight. You know, Tavares gets 2. I'm a believer in confidence mattering. I'm a believer in these guys wanting to hit the 100 points. They want to have the 30 goals. Tonight, everybody deserved what they got. These weren't fluky ones. Like, they played well. They deserved it. What did Nylander finish with? 9 shots, 10 shots? He was
finished with 10 shots and a goal. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a better version of himself. Marner had jumped from the very beginning of the game. You could tell that he was very point invested when he was checking the tablet to see if he got an assist on the second Matthews goal.
Can't say I love that.
You didn't love that?
No, I didn't love that.
Why not?
I hate iPads on the bench in general.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
It's like you're playing a hockey game. Put your mind on the hockey game. Don't talk about like, oh, you missed a wrister. Who gives a crap? Look at the game on the ice. Try to pick up information. Keep locked into the game. It's like you're watching Succession on the bench here. You're looking at your goddamn iPad the whole time. I hate it. I'm not a fan of it. Like I really, really want them. They'll never will. It's way too far. The horses are out of the barn now on it. And I mean, Sheldon Keefe's looking at the thing half the time too, right? Like, it's like they're all obsessed with screens. They're like toddlers out there. The screen time through the roof. They're just trying to get through the game. But like, I didn't love him looking at it being like, I got an assist on that. Like, the official score, the old fart in the penalty box, he'll mark it down there for you, pal. Don't you worry. He'll get you.
The owl die in the sky will get you. I'll just say this. I guess I'm so accustomed to it, but you just changed my mind immediately. Anytime you want to talk about the youths looking at screens too much, as I stare at my phone and do the show.
Well, I'm looking at this. I was just looking at the points tonight, and Marner 3, Tavares 2 goals, Matthew 4 points, Bunting 2 points, Willie Nylander a goal, Ryan O'Reilly with 3 assists, who I thought was excellent tonight, Eric Gustafsson with 3 assists. And I mean, you talk about the biggest point of the game for, the Stars getting rolling and feeling confident. To me, it's having the power play look like that. Listen, the Habs suck. I don't know how the Habs aren't the worst team in the league. Like, I guess they had some decent players for half of the year and they have a good coach and they're playing hard for him. But like, of all the bad teams we've watched the Leafs play over the last little while, they take the cake for crappiness. They are a crap cake. Yeah. They are horrible. And I don't want to take too much out of it in terms of their penalty kill. They got Michael Pezzetta out there trying to kill penalties against Austin Matthews. But like, the power play tonight was dynamite and it had been scuffling. That story had been bubbling up about them, getting cold before the playoffs like they have in the past few years. And that was percolating. And tonight they just kicked the what out of them on the power play. It was a clinic, and it was nice to see.
Dude, it felt like automatic goal time when the power play rolled out, which was a refreshing feeling. And you're right. Habs. But the Leafs were snapping it around. I think that you got to give a lot of credit to Marner and to Nylander specifically tonight for the jump that those two guys started with in the game. Like, Marner was buzzing the second he stepped on the ice.
4 power play goals tonight. I thought it was 3. They had 4. It's crazy.
Yeah. Did you see Marner's quote the other day about load management?
No, I didn't. Missed that one.
He flat out said it sucks.
Yeah. Wow.
Guy wants to play hockey games. He wants that 100 points.
Because he's looking at he's looking at the iPad. He's like, I just need it. I need my points. I care more about my points than I do about this. Like, you guess what? You don't like load management? That's too damn bad. Like, you're getting load managed, pal. Like, we saw.
You love load management.
Yeah, we saw Ilya Samsonov, like, favoring his side for half the game and in a meaningless game against a crappy team. Yeah, like, listen, I like them getting to their milestones. It's a nice round number.
Bro.
Marner deserves to. I am a scaredy cat. Marner deserves 100 points. There's no question. He's a 100-point player. He deserves to have that on his mantle. I'm never going to take that away from him. But if he goes through these other two games where, he goes through Tampa and Florida and he comes out with zeros and you're going to that last game against the Rangers, it's going to be a conversation. Like it happened last year where he was 3 points away, I believe, going into the final game at 97 and they rested him for the final game. 1 point is a completely different conversation than 3 points. Like it's going to be a fascinating one. I'm just praying he gets it out of the way on Monday and they can just sit him down and be like, hey, you got your 100 points. You can get into the rhythm. I don't want to put them out there against these teams in meaningless games.
Yeah, I just don't care. I don't think it's as big of a deal as you. I think that players play. This is not a load management sport. You look at it in general, like you can stub your toe getting out of bed in the morning. I'm not a believer that the one extra game is some extra now spooky game. And when it comes to Samsonov, hey, Ilya, can you do me a favor and all the rest of the Leafs Nation? Can you stop with this stuff?
Faking.
Like, because
I know
you're giving everybody a heart attack out here. Like, do you know how much people care about this hockey team and
I'm
how
panic attack every night with
they
him.
feel about the goaltending? But what did I text you tonight? I said fake.
Yeah.
Faker, faker a million times. And I'm sure there was something, right? Like, I'm not saying faker in the sense of like it's a complete lie. But I'm like, when did this become Ben Roethlisberger out here? When did he become Tiger Woods? Where it's like every time he has to make a movement, he's like, oh, my whole body's falling apart. Like, stop it, man. Please, for the love of God. Just have one where you don't ham up right now. Like, if you're going to ham it up like that, go to the bench and get off. Let Jet get in the game.
Get the Jet and get Benny and the Jets in the game.
By the way, cool moment for Jet, but I tweeted this. That is road hockey gear. Like, there's his chest protector, like the whole kit and caboodle is Road Warrior.
We're kind of scrambled here, but I did see this tweet that from Kevin McGran. Chris Weidman on the Leafs bringing in Jet Alexander into the game. Obviously, the defenseman for the Montreal Canadiens, in case you needed a reminder. They'll get what they deserve in a few weeks.
I love it. Guess what?
That's stone cold. That is a shot to the heart of Leafs Nation.
What an awesome quote, though, because to play for the Montreal Canadiens, I want you to hate the Leafs. I watched some Instagram account today put up one of the old Hockey Night in Canada clips that they put together of Leafs versus Habs, and it was so awesome to watch it, where it's like Johnny Bauer taking a puck off the face, Wendell Clark sniping one, scraps, brawls, hatred, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about going in tonight, like I almost shared it, and then I went, what am I doing? They're gonna this is just cold coffee. There's nobody out here. I'm like, there's like 5 Habs players that are gonna be on the team next year that are playing on the ice tonight. And so I shelved it. But to have a guy that's on the Habs saying you'll get your comeuppance, because guess what? That's an awesome moment for Jet, no doubt about it. But it's not like a in-your-face showy move to Montreal, but you can only do it if you're kicking their ass 7-1, right? Like, that's like hey, now we're even going to do a ceremonial moment at the end of the game. We're not going to let the clock run out and put the kid in. So I like that he's pissed off about it. And
I would be so mad. If I was on the Habs, I would be feeling the exact same way. Like,
that's what
we all love that Jet got his moment. It's great that he got in there. He didn't get a save, unfortunately. One puck didn't hit him, so he could say he made a National League save, which is a tough one, but still gets to be in there at the end of the game. He gets
I don't think he wanted a puck to hit him, to be honest. He looked like
Listen, I texted this to you. I texted this to you. If you give me a breakaway against Jet, I'm talking. I'm talking for sure. I don't care if he's a U of T goalie. I'm putting one between those legs. The pads were tiny. They're tiny.
Dude, I'm telling you, those things look like they were for somebody else. Like, they just were not his pads. Those are some kid's pads.
So anyway, I get being pissed off. I mean, I love that he's pissed off. Like, it's a show up move, and I'm happy they did it. I'm happy that Jet gets his moment, but like, it's the most storied franchise in the history of the NHL. Who, like you said, the rivalry, and it's the oldest rivalry in hockey. It's the best, it's supposed to be the best rivalry in hockey. You're having a big time down season, and your historic rival dunks on you after dunking on you all night long. I hope you're pissed off.
Yeah.
I hope you're pissed off.
I think they were probably a little pissed off too, the way that the Leafs were celebrating some of their goals late in the game. Like Matthews, when he scored. Yeah. I was actually thinking that's what I'd be more pissed off if I was a Habs. You know what sucks? I hate doing this after this game, but I want to dunk on Habs fans. I want it so bad. I had like 4 tweets in the draft about the Habs. You just can't do it.
There's nothing we can say. What can you say to
nothing. You just have to eat it in silence. It's like, what's the moratorium on that playoff loss? Like, you have to beat Montreal in the playoffs before.
No, they're the Leafs, and the Leafs are the Sens now.
I've never felt so crippled on Twitter where like I could not do anything.
No,
I had them, and I had all these, and I'm like, ha ha ha, and then I'd read it, and I would go, I don't have the heart to have one Habs fan go, yeah, what about when it mattered? Like,
dead. Immediately dead. Delete tweet. Delete tweet.
Creek. Gotta go. I gotta go off the grid. I gotta delete all my things. Phone. I gotta do it like in the movies where they snap the chips, they break the phone, and I just gotta go like walk into the woods. There's no other option for me. So yeah, I was really feeling that one. Okay, so I want to go back to the Stars here for a second because I do want to highlight Nylander specifically because. All right, this is the one good thing about a game like this, right? Is Marner has been phenomenal all year. I know he had a couple of games without a point, but boy, you'd have to be some hot take artist to go after Marner for having 3 games without a point down the stretch. And like the way I thought about Marner tonight, watching him was, you know, those stories of guys that play in beer leagues, and then there's like a guy who plays a cup of coffee in the KHL, and he shows up and he's just like, oh my God, look how good this guy is. That was Marner tonight. But Nylander, getting demoted to the second power play when you're dangerously close to a 40-goal season, like, I thought that was a little noteworthy. And I just want to ask you this. When he scored his goal, do you think that his reaction was like, oh, that was kind of fluky because of the way it went in the net? Or do you think that was a little mopey? Like, he had a good game. He, like, again, 9-10 shots. He was flying around for most of the night. But his reaction on the goal, did you clock that?
I saw it, and he does, because we've been watching him score a lot of goals for a lot of years now. And there are certain ones where he's like acts pretty cool, you know, like he's like that's a classic goal scorer thing. When you score one, sometimes you just like act cool and you act like you've been there before and it's not that big a goal or whatever. But like, I'll hear the narrative. Like, if you want to have that conversation that he's pissed off, I will absolutely have that conversation because it's a big time pee-pee whack here. Like, he is one of the core 4 guys in the team. He's been struggling. Like, you know, you can do whatever you want to me. You can put me on the third line with whoever. You can do this. You can take my ice time down. But taking you off PP1 is a massive statement. Like, that's a big time slap in the face. Like, that's where I go out there and I do my thing. I shoot the wrister. You know, I come off the half boards like I love to do and rip it and good passes. It's a big time statement. So I'll hear that reaction after that goal is that he was a little pissed off. I'm here for that controversy. I love it.
The thing is, though, about Nylander and the pee-pee whacking is that, like, he's been the number 1 pee-pee whack boy forever. Like,
but he never gets taken off PP1.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But like, this was a whole new level. Like, I just thought it was super interesting that Keefe pulled that lever tonight. He must have felt like, I want you going these last 3 games. Here's my guess: Nylander's not getting a rest night.
No, I agree. He needs to play. He needs to play.
I don't think he's going to be off. And like, we've been talking about it, but for the guy in this market, Sheldon Keefe is a smart dude, man. And this is not some, I can already see the comments where someone's going, they want to see Ryan O'Reilly, they want a different look. No, this is not a different.
Really good.
This is,
by the way,
they did look really good
on the first power play unit.
And well, I will say this about the first power play unit with those 2 guys is like, and this, again, it's so hard because against the Habs, they're literally playing like an OHL team. So when it comes to just strength,
I'm not sure that team would have been the Memorial Cup this year. Like, they're no good.
Tavares and O'Reilly, when they had the puck tonight, it was like, no one's taking this from them. Like, they're so much stronger on the puck than anybody the Habs had to throw at them. But there is something about those 2 guys in front of the net kind of like banging and chopping away on a power play that I do like. And I kind of wish that they would have had O'Reilly for a little while longer to actually experiment with him there a little bit more. But I do think that they'll go back to Nylander. I do think that they'll ride the horses and Keefe will put him back there. But yeah, I just thought that for a guy that has been kind of starting to teeter into the real narrative zone. People are afraid of the Nylander stuff, right? Like they're afraid to do Nylander isn't performing stuff when he's had such a spectacular year, right? You just know that it's toxic and you're going to get into a whole different like Twitter storm.
It's a thing. No doubt.
It is. So people are definitely afraid to have the conversation a little bit more than they would for other players, right? Mm-hmm. Like that of his ilk that would be performing the way that he has for essentially last month. So for Sheldon Keefe, as that moment, as that narrative is happening, for him to do it on a Saturday night where he demotes him to power play 2, and again, 3 goals off entering the games of 40, I went, whoo.
Yeah.
But Nylander responded tonight. Like he got his goal.
Flying.
Tons of points, was flying.
Yeah.
Drew a penalty early. I think he had like 2 big scoring chances very, very early in the game when it was like still it's time to try and the other team isn't packed it in completely. Drew that penalty early. Like he was quality tonight, man. He had 7 shots after the second period in the time where I count like the game was closer because the third period stats were just like the Leafs were on the power play the whole time. But yeah, so going into that moment, I thought Nylander was really good. So good for him. Hopefully that kick in the ass is like gives him one down the stretch here and into the playoffs.
Absolutely. So before we move off the Stars, I just wanted to highlight how gorgeous that Matthews goal was. Like that was, I feel like he hasn't done that one a ton this year where he beats a guy like that one-on-one and then
he's going to score 20 less goals than he did last year.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
It feels a little bit like, he doesn't have as many of those because he doesn't. He has 20 less. It's a lot.
You're right. So there you go. That's bingo. But man, that great play by Marner, who definitely should have gotten an assist on that. Like he put it into the zone. Like they will definitely credit him with an assist. But then the way he just smoothly put that puck by him and then just beat poor old Montembeault, like with no chance. I just ripped it. It's so nice to see him look like Matthews because this year there were some trying times there with the Matthews experience, right? Where you went through 2 months of just him not impacting the game and seeing him and Matthews, Marner and Bunting together. I don't think there's any way you can't do that in the playoffs, right? Like that, seeing those guys back together like that and seeing those guys dominate against the Habs. I know they suck. It really, really was like, yeah, this feels right. These guys together does feel right. Did you have the same feeling?
Not really. I'll be honest.
You want to go back? So you want to stick with the old zero impact line and put Nylander and Tavares and Marner together? What do you want to do?
No. Marner and Matthews together. Seeing though, I don't like this is one of the stories of the season for me with why you cannot re-sign him is like Calle Jarnkrok on that line provided something different, something good too. And here's what I'll say about the Jarnkrok thing. And it was a little. I didn't really love that everybody's been resting, and with him, it was he re-aggravated an injury, and they sort of slid that into the middle of broadcast, and I was like, wait, how re-aggravated? Like, what?
Apparently day-to-day, lower body, I don't know.
Yeah, all right, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that this time of year, you dismiss that completely because you go, it's rest time for all these guys, and they want to cycle in different players and give Simmons a night, but I don't know. Something about that, I went, should I be a little more concerned about that? Anyway, my point with Jarnkrok is just simply, tonight, Bunting had a lot of shots, like a lot of chances, and he couldn't fire one in the net. And I went, I like Jarnkrok shot more. And I like that he's just more of a threat to score with Matthews and Marner than I think Bunting is. And if they're in the mindset of Bunting could cost them with a stupid penalty or a stupid play, then I don't want him playing as many minutes with that top line. I'd rather have someone like Jarnkrok, who I trust as a little bit more of a two-way player with a better shot. So it's like, and I'm not even saying I'm married to the idea of Jarnkrok. I just think that to me, it's about 2 guys together, not 3. Like this is not like there's no third man that's locked into that spot for me. Like
you're right. That's what you're right. The way you laid it out there is correct. I want Matthews and Marner together. Matthews and Marner together is what they need to do in the playoffs. Game 1, they need to be together. And I don't really, I think you laying out the fact that Jarnkrok's shot has been so lethal when he's gotten the chances and he's not a bozo out there taking dumb penalties at bad times. I think that gives them the edge. So I love seeing
Bunting's
Matthews.
No slouch. Like, dude, he has 20 goals this year.
No,
like,
I know, but the penalty factor is a massive one. And it reared its ugly head again tonight. And all of Leafs Nation, again, just so bent out of shape, acting like, it's just, they're like acting like the church mouse Bunting doesn't, bring it on himself every night. Anyways, I don't want to spend too much. I don't want to do this again with bunting.
I know, but he also
penalties.
had a massive dive in the first
yes,
period.
He does every night.
I know, but I went as if you did that in the first period when this is going on this way, like had a full blown, like threw his arm back.
When he got cross-checked by Edmondson there, that was a flop again. Yeah. And
I don't mind the flop on that play, though.
Old Wayne Simmons comes flying in, defends his honor, fights two guys. He's what's the guy from he's like, I'm getting too old for this shit. Like, he's flying in. Yeah, he's just flying in there, having to punch out two guys, flopping bunting. I don't know. I just don't really want to have the bunting conversation.
No, we don't have to. But no, the only bunting conversation I'm saying is, okay, to me it's like Bunting or Yarncroc could be on that top line at any given time. Mm-hmm. And then the other guy will be with the second line, except they're definitely going to do that O'Reilly down the middle, Tavares on the wing, Nylander thing in the playoffs. And every time it looks good. And I know, again, tonight against the Habs, you go, what did we really see? But that line looked better than what it was before. And it did make me think, like, I hate the way we talk about Tavares in the city. Like, he can't play center when he's an awesome center, but there's just a part of me right now that goes, like, this could be the future here. Like, this could be part of the reason that you do, like, go after, if it's not Ryan O'Reilly, but try to find another center with some skill, because you want to be able to have this at your disposal. That, like, you know how we talked about it, like it was gonna be like load management for Tavares moving to the wing, and I think it was. I heard you guys talking about Kipper and Bourne the other day, how, like, they missed their shot to rest him.
Yeah,
I actually think that in their ideal circumstance, they would rather have O'Reilly play center and Tavares wing. Like, this is not a rest or anything like that anymore. This is what's going to happen in the playoffs. I think that's the top six, is like, it's Bunting, Matthews, Marner, O'Reilly, Nylander, and Tavares. And then every once in a while, they're going to flip Yarncroc and Bunting and have those guys in a couple of different roles. And, like, whoever's going is going to get that spot. But yes, to me, you're right. The whole point of what you were trying to get at is it's Marner and Matthews, and it's 100% those two guys together. Yeah. This is their moment to change their entire legacy in the city. They're not going to split them up and do something stupid. We know the Tinkerer loves to tinker, and he's been tinkering away, tinkered again tonight.
Tinkerbell. That's the new nickname is Tinkerbell. He just loves it.
Soldier Spy. He can't wait to just do it again. He's sitting in there, and he's guaranteed he's probably watching the third period, already checked out, like, what are we going to do Monday? How am I going to tinker?
What's practice going to look like Monday? He's like drawing up lines on the bench.
A couple quick rapid fire ones. You can't play Gustafsson in the playoffs, but, like, that was a pretty game for him on Power Play 1.
Yeah, he looked great on Power Play 1. But before, I wanted to talk about Ryan O'Reilly, because I was texting with you about this, about how I think the injury to him may have been a big time blessing in disguise for the Toronto Maple Leafs, because he looks, in the games that he's come back, and that was his second game since Boston and then Montreal. Yeah. The pace is way better than it was when he first got traded over here. Like, the time off and that 6 weeks that's a big time rest. Like, he's skating every day. I know he's on the ice or whatever, but he's not going through the rigors of the NHL schedule with the travel and the hits and all this stuff that he has to take. Like, he's been really, really impressive through 2 games in the way that he's just stepped right back in and, caught up to the pace of the game. And he's just looked way better than, I think he's looked better in these 2 games. I guess outside of the Buffalo game where, they get 100 points in the first 5 minutes. But, like, I think these 2 games that he's come back have been his 2 best outside of that one. Like, he's looked awesome. I'm really encouraged from what I've seen from him.
Yeah, he looked really good. He looked really, really good tonight. Like, and again, it's hard because of the competition, I will say.
But I thought he looked great in Boston too.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I just think that tonight, especially, like, the way he looked, where he was just kind of a monster, I went, all right. To me, to be honest, like, them getting the points and the confidence of it, like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But it is also a bit of a throwaway game too, because those guys were desperately trying to get all their points and counting them and making sure, like, that they got everything that they wanted to get there.
Yeah.
I wanted to. Okay, are you done with the main stuff? Because I have a little bit of rapid fire.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, Gustafsson at least is worth a mention, because it's a weird one, because I just need to say that he played really well tonight. He was awesome on the power play. His shot, step to the side move is like
elite,
money in the bank.
Yeah.
And he can pinch. He looks really, really good in that area of the ice. It's just like he's not playing, but there is a little bit of comfort for me knowing, hey, like if someone gets hurt, he steps in. And I thought to myself, this probably won't happen, but I do wonder if someone did get hurt and they brought him in and it wasn't Morgan Riley and they like just gave it a shot during a game if the power play was kind of scuffling.
I think, listen, if you wanted to have a conversation about 11-7, he is the reason you would consider it for the power play stuff. To have that, like, if you play him 7 minutes in a game and 4 of it's on the power play, like, I don't want them to do 11-7 in the playoffs, but he is the reason that you would, just because of how good he is on the power play. He's 100%. Really, really good on the power play. He moves it around. He's decisive. He goes down low. He's up high. He's making the right passes. Like you said, that shot fake sidestep thing is beautiful. He's a good power play player. Outside of that, don't really love his game outside of that.
Speaking of outside of that, going down the defenseman, you really felt Luke Schen's physicality tonight again. Like just anytime guys were around the net, goodbye. There was one moment where he just grabbed 2 guys when they were hanging around the net and he was holding them each with one arm. And I went, yeah, it's the Papa Bear right there.
Yeah,
like, that is the nice guy.
Don't bother. Yeah.
And just, he had a couple of really nice hits. And I just will say we went against Luke, but he is our guy. And
we're Luke's troops. And he was good tonight.
He was really good tonight.
Yeah.
Like he was just solid. He made a lot of good plays. I really liked Luke Schenn. I liked the hitting tonight. And also when it comes to hitting stuff, I was surprised to see that he only recorded 2 hits, Achari, but I'm a bit of like a Achari. Like I got,
buddy, we're Etobicoke uncles. It's happened.
It's just
our favorite guys are Gio, Achari, Luke Schenn. Like buddy, we're Etobicoke uncles. It happened.
The best part about this is my next note is Gio, but I just have to say that I love that Achari has like a little bit of extra nastiness to his hits.
Yes.
And like
violence.
Like he's not the biggest guy, but when he gets you lined up, he wants to make you feel it.
He wants to inflict some
really
damage.
Like that about him.
Me too. I mean, listen, this could be called the Achari show. Every show we talk about how much we love Achari, but I love Achari. He is a playoff player. Yeah. Like if I have a feeling that if the Leafs go on a long run here, God forbid that happens, I feel like he's going to be a big time fan favorite of this city. We're going to look back on this run and it's going to be like big Achari moments and everyone's going to absolutely adore him.
Yeah, completely agree. That Mark Giordano block shot that knocked him down and then he
gets
right back up.
Warrior, absolute warrior. This guy is like, old. He's old as dirt and he's out there just stepping in front of clappers, doing all the dirty work. It's amazing how much his game has changed. This guy won the Norris. Like, what was that? 2019, he won the Norris. And now he's like the 5th, 6th defenseman on a cup contending team, diving in front of shots, doing whatever the hell it takes to win. Sheldon Keefe must adore this man. Definitely. Like he must have a picture, like, but on Sheldon Keefe's like mantle at home, he's got a picture of like his family, but like slightly in front of it is a picture of Gio just like making a breakout pass, like a stock, like a hockey card picture of him.
Yeah.
He just does it all. He makes $800K and he just does whatever they ask of him. He has been such a gift to the Leafs. It's unbelievable.
Well, dude, I've told you this, like when Gio first came and got traded to Leafs.
Yeah.
I texted 4 or 5 of his former teammates.
Yeah.
And every single one of them was like, no, this guy is the greatest.
The man.
He is going to do so much for that room, like just the perfect guy. Mm-hmm. And so, I think, it's very likely that the coach absolutely adores the guy.
Adores him.
Blocks shots, shows up to work every day early and like
makes no money.
Makes no money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty important guy.
Yeah.
I saved the best for last in my notes. I think anyways. Yeah, I have some other stuff, but it's all like power play stuff and whatever. But best for last, David Kampf trying the Michigan. Like, oh boy. He almost had it too. Like
there was a chance. Like he had it on his stick. It was elevated, and there was some room.
He didn't embarrass himself. Like that defenseman
he came over the top.
Yeah,
with that slash. I don't know who it was. Was it Weidman?
He remember.
Came over the top with that slash, and like if he missed that, he could have slashed him right in the face. Like it was a violent slash, which I get. Like the Michigan is, if you're gonna lose 7-1 to the Leafs. And David Kampf gets Michigan, and they put in a U of T goalie on the same game. Like, that is the ultimate disrespect night for Habs fans. Not an enjoyable evening, but good on Kampf. Kampf's been good, man. Kampf has had his best non-Angville stretch of hockey for like the last 3 weeks, where he's really started to gel with that line. And we all remember how excellent he was in the playoffs. So if you're trying the Michigan, you're feeling pretty good about your hockey game. So that just shows me that he's feeling confident and ready for the playoffs.
I just love that we've now seen David Kampf penalty shot and David Kampf Michigan attempt like in the span of a week.
And they were both equally crappy.
Yeah, but the Michigan one, I actually thought, dude, I'm glad that didn't go in because I think that the Habs would have murdered you. Like, I think you put that goal in and they are immediately just like, we're going to spend the rest of this game like you can't. If Marty St. Louis didn't go into the intermission and just be like, hey, so obviously money on the board, first guy to knock him out of this game.
First guy to beat him up.
Yeah, like he cannot leave here unscathed. So I did think that was probably good for your long-term health. Even I really do believe if David Kampf would have scored a Michigan, this might be the clip. I think if David Kampf might scored a Michigan, it would be a top 5 moment of Leaf season.
Listen, it's hard to quibble with that. It might be number 1. Like this season's been so like such a malaise, and there's been no like milestone moments. Like I think there's an argument that it could be number 1 if he had scored that.
Had he done it, oh damn it! This is actually going against my point because I'm forgetting the guy. But remember that who was the Blue Jay that did the somersault flip?
Chris Coughlin.
Yeah, I couldn't get Chris Colabello in my head. I knew that was right. Because it goes down in that tier of lore where it's like, you know where you were when that duster. And
Buddy,
he's not
Chris Coughlin. That is one of the most electrifying moments in Blue Jays history.
Yeah.
I could not believe that happened. That got me out of my seat to the highest level.
I know where I was.
Same.
I was watching it in Eric and Diamond's kitchen. And I watched it and I was like, there's no way that just happened.
I was watching that with AMAC. I was at home. I was in Owen Sound.
On the television, like, get over here. You got to see what is happening here. So, yeah, he could have gone on the we should basically call that the Chris Coughlin Hall of Fame, where it's like you make an incredible play, but you're not an incredible player. It makes it a little bit more legendary, a little bit more memorable. So, yeah, that's what
you could call it the Merrick Malik Award, too.
Yeah. Merrick Malik. God, that was so sexy.
So
the celebration on the Merrick Malik made it easy, infinitely better, too.
Quickly, before we go, did you see the clip coming back from the third period that they showed of like the old guy getting interviewed outside the arena?
You mean Giordano's teacher?
Yeah. Like, are we sure that like can we confirm?
Yeah, they did. You said Gio confirmed it. Who do you think?
Oh, he did? Oh, I didn't hear him say that part. Like I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I was just finishing dinner with Allie. I
have no comment on
what
this.
Is this?
This is a hardworking. Your parents are teachers. You shall.
I was just like, what is it going on?
No. At first, I was a little confused too when he was just yelling, "He's 99 science. He's a science genius." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, dude. I was shocked.
Actually, that just gave me a great man. This is $1 million idea. Someone should make science genius Mark Giordano shirts.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah,
there's like that company out there that makes like the Willie style shirt and like those ones.
But I'm just saying, like, don't let them steal that. That's mine. TM.
Well, okay, TM, take it.
Yeah, but yeah, science genius, the Mark Giordano shirt. I think that's a hit.
Yeah, and what would the picture be? Like, would it be him and some beakers, or just a picture?
Just Gio like holding up a
beaker.
Yeah, a beaker, or what are those called? Oh man, I sucked at that.
Or him hanging over a Bunsen burner.
Yeah,
those are my two science terms.
No,
that's all I got.
Have it. It's got to be just Gio and his big bald head wearing like the goggles, and just the goggles holding up. I can't remember what the cylinder is called.
I think it's just a cylinder, isn't it?
No, there's a name for it, but anyways,
who cares?
But yeah, give me one of those. Science genius. I love that. Anyway, all right, that's probably enough for tonight on this Habs game. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave 5 stars. I ask you every time. Mm-hmm. Some of you just won't do it. Whatever.
Never do it.
Scum.
No.
Yeah, like yes. Some of you do it. I love you to death. Some of you just sit there all angry and you just
hands
whatever.
Folded.
Yeah, you just can't do it. Yeah, some of you don't hit that thumbs up again. Like, see the thousands and thousands of views, everyone. The more thumbs ups. Share it. Do all those things. And, yeah, we'll see you for the Florida doubleheader. And then, 3 games left until playoffs.
Crazy.
We're here. Stretch run. Final week of the season for the Leafs coming up here. Final week. For JD Bunkis, Sam McKee, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.